Hi, Monica. This is me, Nadia, from ZenOnco.io and Love Heals Cancer. We guide cancer patients on adopting an integrative oncology treatment approach. We help them find the balance between mainstream treatment and complementary treatment approaches. We help patients with our team of oncologists, lab experts, nutritionists, and other healthcare professionals so that the entire outcome of treatment for the patient is at its best. And through this, we also connect patients with other cancer warriors and survivors like yourself here today, you know, and their queries can be answered. They are morally uplifted. And through all these inspirational journeys, we try to bring everybody together to motivate and inspire and help each other. Today, we have Monica with us, who is going to share her story. I can't wait to hear her. I'm so honored to be sitting here and talking to a person like this. It is a huge honor, ma'am. First, let me say that. And second of all, take it from here, ma'am. This is your story. You own it, nobody else does. And we can't wait to hear you.
Thank you so much, Nadia, and thank you, Zen Onco and Love Heals Cancer, for giving this opportunity to share my story, my little story with all of you. And all of us are warriors. I believe in some or the other sense. We don't need to have a disease in order to be a warrior. So, all of us are,
That is true.
champions in some sense. So, I would start with my own story. It started in 2000. Uh, where should I start from? It started in 2013 actually. So in 2010, I got married.
Yeah.
And after that, I kind of fell into a trap of being stuck to a limited role of maybe a wife, a daughter in law, which I did not realize, what have I done to myself? Nobody else was doing it to me. I was only responsible. Nobody was forcing me to behave in a certain way. It was something out of social conditioning that I let on myself that, now I am married and this is what my role should be. So before that, I was a liberal individual. I was following my own instincts and whatever I wanted to do in my life. In 2013, I had my first child, and in 2014, I had my second, like back to back. And while I was pregnant with my second child, Anand, then I found bleeding in my urine. And in the beginning, I did not know what was happening because somewhere, in pregnancy, many things happen. So, maybe it was a urological infection or something else. So I did not pay much attention. So the urine will become kind of bloody red, in not really red, like pinkish. And then it will, after 3, 4 urines, it will clear itself out. It was painless bleeding. And earlier it happened like after 1 month it came again, and then for 1 month no bleeding happened. Earlier it was like this. When I delivered my child, the second child, after that the frequency really became very kind of active. Like every week I would have a bleeding once, and it will clear after 3, 4 urines. So when it really became like frequent, I was not able to stop myself to search what it is. Maybe on Google first. That is our first encyclopedia. So I went to Google, and there everything was bladder cancer, bladder cancer, bladder cancer. And I somehow was not ready yet to maybe face it, because I said, how can I have cancer, at such young age, without any smoking, no exposure to any other, evil things. How can I have cancer? Only other people have cancer. That was the first thing that happened to me. So I was in denial, I would say. I did not know what was happening, but then I could not ignore it for longer. And I got an ultrasound done. There I got to know that there were tumors in the bladder. So it was actually bladder cancer. Now the reality kind of dawned upon me that it is something like that only. And my ultrasonologist immediately said that you should go and see a urologist immediately. This is not nice looking, whatever there is in the bladder. And I would say that after that diagnosis, immediately my world came to a halt. In the sense, we have so many things running here and there in our head, the things that we want to do, the futures that we have planned, the past that we hold on to. the, maybe the kids, the present moments that we have at the moment. And all that mattered nothing at all. Because here I was in my early 30s, I would say, facing cancer, which is as good as facing death, because cancer feels like a death sentence. It never goes away. And what do I do with this? So first of all, it was like this, that everything else did not matter. Everything else became trivia. So my emotional struggles, my family struggles, all that did not matter. What mattered was, what do I do now? And then I think it would be only divine grace, if I can say God's grace, that guided me to the right people. Because something in me was seeking, even before getting married, trying to kind of, collaborate science with emotions. So I had done my PhD before that, before marriage, in immunology. And I, towards the end of my PhD, I was struggling that I cannot find all answers just by research. There is a big emotional component which is absent in scientific research. So how do I bring it there? How do I bring that in perspective? So as if I was given a practical experiment in my hand. Now here, you try it on yourself. So as if someone wanted me to go through that practical experience. And so I wanted to seek what to do, and I was, something in me was sure that it is me who has given rise to this disease. It is my emotions, my own, suppressed stuff, that has been creating this raw material for the disease to manifest. So although there was fear also, anxiety also, and maybe a bit of, I can say, sadness around it, but there was also a spirit of wanting to go beyond it, wanting to take it as a signal rather than being a victim and, being victimized by the situation. There was some kind of a light also there along with the darkness. So this led me to find a therapist for myself. And I, because I was into this alternative theories of disease and all that, reading about itself, myself, I tried to, I wanted to see that if I can work on my emotions, try to find out what my body is trying to tell me, which I'm not able to hear so far. What is this disease here to tell me? So I did back to back about 8 to 9 sessions with a guided, like a guided meditation and anger sessions and all that, with a therapist here in Gurgaon only. And after that, I came to know that, after that, I actually gained strength, that no matter if I have to go through surgeries, I can easily go through. Before that, I did not have the strength to go through surgeries. So after that, I, if I can say, I got in touch with something in me which is immortal. Like we say, human spirit, which never dies. In Gita also it's mentioned that even things cannot harm it. So even death cannot harm what I am in my true essence. So I had a glimpse of that essence during those guided sessions with working with myself. And that gave me strength to go through 2 surgeries, one after the other, to remove the tumors from the bladder. After that, I also gained courage to go through a short leg of therapy, a BCG therapy that we do for bladder cancers, urinary bladder cancers. And that was in 2016-17. So everything was done by that time. And after that, as if a new life kind of emerged in front of me, listening to this feeble voice within me of our heart. We say our heart is calling, inner calling, that we say, inner truth. So what am I born for? What is my purpose of being a human being on this earth? It cannot be just eating and shitting and, having babies and going to the office. It just cannot be that. It has to be something more. What is that more? So if I can say, why do I call my blog as Gift of Cancer? It's at WordPress, the giftofcancer.wordpress.com. And I called it Gift of Cancer because only after that, it gave me a new life where I could live and own myself fully, with all my uglinesses, with all my beauties, and to make them a part in my journey. So that was in the beginning, like the beginning kind of a push of the story. And not to say that I have found what is to be found in this human life. It's just that I am on this path. It's a beautiful journey. And I'm happy to now confront my own fears, my own darknesses, because they never end. They come up again and again in various forms. But now I can say that I'm ready to face them. Even if I have to go through an illness again, I would be going through it because I know that the universe is for me and not against me. So that is my story in a nutshell. Anything that you want to ask?
Wow. I mean, you have put it out so clearly for everyone to hear. It is so well put out. I must say this. I must applaud you the way you said it. I really must.
Thank you. Thank you.
And really, it is a huge thing as a pregnant mother to have to see what you went through. At that point, I can only imagine what you must have gone through as a, first of all, when a person is going through, when women go through pregnancy, it in itself is a huge, it
Mm,
takes a huge toll on a
mm,
person's body.
mm,
Now to undergo pregnancy and then realize you have something like this,
mm.
that would have taken a huge toll on your mind as well and
Actually,
body.
thankfully, while I was pregnant, I God's grace, works in so many varied ways. So I think it's just grace that I did not get to know about it while I was pregnant, although the symptoms had started to appear. But because just like we say, ignorance is bliss sometimes. So
Of
because
course.
I was ignorant about the diagnosis, it did not play the havoc it could have played on my emotions and on my health. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And these symptoms were, can you just tell us what symptoms were
Symptoms
there?
were like really painless symptoms, and I did not get to know much about losing weight
Yeah.
because I was pregnant and I put on a lot of weight, so I did not get to know about the losing of weight.
Mm.
But the symptoms were bleeding in the urine,
Mm.
which was intermittent. So it would appear, blood will appear in the urine, painless, and then after 3-4 urines, it will clear again.
Mm.
Then it will come up again, say after 10 days.
Mm.
So like that.
Okay, and how did your family react to this when you disclosed this to them?
Yeah. So actually, my mother-in-law already had been diagnosed with breast cancer earlier. So they had been through such a difficult phase. She also had to undergo chemotherapy. It was a very tough time for her, but she went through all that in her all her spirit. So thankfully, my parents also and everyone else were very, I would say, not that anxious about it, and they were also in faith of the divine workings that yes, we can go through it. They are not, this is the challenge in front, let's go through it, like that. So
They
I'm
would have,
sure they went through their own emotional struggles, which I may not be aware of, but there was a lot of support also. Yeah.
I was just going to say that. Yes, yes, I was
Yeah.
just going to say that.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have let you know about it. Yes,
They didn't let me know.
of course. Yeah, but they would have showered you with a lot of positivity as well.
I would say, more neutrality.
Ah.
What we need in life is a neutral kind of, as equanimity, if I can say
Hmm.
that yes, this can also be taken in stride. So if for the lack of better word, I would say more equanimity than positivity.
Okay. Okay. I get it. Yes. And this was at the stage of
This was the first stage only,
the first stage, right?
first stage of cancer. Yeah.
And when you were undergoing this, how did your treatment process go? Could you tell
Yeah.
us more about the treatment and the hospital and the
Yes.
caregivers in the hospital?
Yeah. So so I went through two surgeries.
Huh.
First surgery, it was a big kind of a blow for me and also a new learning, because before that surgery I felt that I am the mother of these two little children which had been born by that time, and I am the sole caretaker. We, over the time of course of events in our life, we think that we are God, and I think there we put a lot of burden on our shoulders, thinking that nothing can go if I am not well or if I am not around. And that was a big learning for me, because I saw that even when I am helpless, I am in the hospital for my surgery, my two children are being taken care of. There is nothing that can stop that care. in whatever form it may be coming to them. It may not be exactly coming in what I think is right, but they are being taken care of. So that was a very big dawning upon me that I am not as important as I may think. The ego thinks that ego is really far more important than in other people in this whole world. And the other thing was that while I was going through the surgery at my home, my family was taking care of my children at home. And also I was in a very uplifted mood, if I can say, owing to have worked on myself for 8 to 9 months after the initial diagnosis, where I did emotional work on myself. So there was a lot of positivity. I remember beautifully those days of my hospital visits where I went for surgeries. And the urologist was spectacular, in Medanta only, beautiful doctor. And also a lot of support from the hospital staff also, and my own spirit that was very positive, if I can say, that yes, something beautiful is emerging out of this darkness. That solidity of faith was always there. Then when I went to the period of the therapy, that period was something a little painful, I would say, because one has to inject through a catheter. One injects this BCG vaccine in the bladder. Then you have to lie down, do left and right for some time, and maybe stay in the hospital for a few hours. And after that, you kind of flush out through your urine the BCG out from the bladder. Then you go home. Before that, you don't go home. And when I go back home, then there would be a time maybe I would get some fever, and also maybe chills, and not very well, not very easy in the body. Also maybe burning sensation in the bladder and in the urethra portion. But I would say, uh, it was a tough time, definitely. But what I have got as a result of going through that challenge is I can go through that all over again, because what I got in touch was my spirit, which I was missing in my life. And for that, one can just go through any challenge or darkness. So yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. Oh, I love the way you say this. You're just saying it exactly how it is. Like,
Yeah.
you compared to what you said before, that you were in a set role set for you. Now here you are defining your role.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you taking control of your life.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
want my life back.
Exactly. Reclaiming it. Yeah.
Reclaiming it. Wow. It is really empowering to even hear it coming from you, from a person like you. Yes. Wow. Also, talking about your lifestyle, how it used to be before and how it changed right after your cancer journey. Could you
Yeah.
tell us how your lifestyle in terms of nutrition, in terms of diet, in terms of a daily routine? Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing which has taken a positive turn, in fact, two things I would say. One thing is that I have turned mostly organic.
Mm.
I don't know if that would help or not, because again, there are so many complexities of things, how they work, and they end up, even a person eating organic may have cancer. It all depends on these various combinations of emotions, the thoughts, and all the thing that we put in the body. So although I have turned mostly organic, that is a conscious choice I made. But I would say more focus is on how I live my life. In the sense, am I awake? Am I conscious of my inner movements each moment? Do I know what is happening in the domain of my thoughts? Am I in charge of my feelings? Or are they just making me a puppet, which yet they used to earlier? So I would say I am more and more awake of my own inner movements, which may be thoughts, which may be listening to my own body, little movements of the body tells us, in various ways, that what it is feeling, maybe fear, maybe anxiety, maybe emotions of certain kinds. So rather than letting them making a puppet of me, which I was in a situation earlier, I would say I'm more and more becoming conscious that if I want, I can become a master of my own movements, so that they don't have mastery over me. I am the master of my own movements. So rather than focusing too much on nutrition, which is only focusing on the body, I have taken more in charge of the spirit, and then everything can be taken care of. Along with that, I can also take care of the body, and along with that, I can also take care of the nutrition. But if I keep on only focusing on nurturing the body and keep on nurturing the spirit at bay, it's like discarded. I don't know how far I can go with that spirit.
It's
Yeah.
both connected, you're saying.
Yeah, they're connected. Yes, they are connected. But so body is the instrument through which spirit does its job. So the body has to be trained and kept well by nutrition and the other things that keep well the body. But what will manifest is the spirit. It's like, the breath of Krishna will play through the flute. So the flute has to be clean. It has to be kept well. But if the breath of Krishna is not coming, what will I do with an empty flute? I don't know. So if I'm not able to be in touch consciously with the spirit within, I rather not have a body, because I don't want to waste a body, a human life in just eating and sleeping and eating and sleeping and doing work, earning money. That does not make sense to me. There has to be something more in life than just these regular rituals of daily affairs. So for me, it connected more like that.
Your experiences have made you an extremely strong person, Monica. I must tell you this. An
Thank
extremely strong person in terms of your willpower and your determination and your mind. Your mind is very focused, I believe.
you. Yeah. I don't know. There is a lot more I can do, but yeah, better than before. I would say less stupid than before. Yeah,
Let's not say stupid. I feel it's more experience
yeah, it
that
is.
makes us
Yeah, that's true.
that make it takes us forward.
Yeah, yeah.
Every experience is always a learning curve for us.
Beautiful. Yeah, it is very well said. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you talk about your caregivers at home and how they took care of you at home, how was the work balance, work life,
Yeah.
personal life? How were you able to balance it when it comes to your chemotherapy and your
So,
treatment?
yeah, my therapy was actually very localized. It was not an all body chemotherapy. So I was really, I can say, I was lucky in that aspect that it is only localized BCG vaccine in my bladder that was given. And it would cause me discomfort only for 2-3 days after the therapy, and then I would have a kind of a sort of peaceful time with my body. And amidst of all that, because I had stopped working for that time, so I was not forced to go to work. I was just focusing on 2 children and my own being at that point of time, and there was complete support from the family, in the sense of taking care of kids and whatever is needed. And at the same time, I would also say that, although there can be tremendous pillars of support from all over the place, one is alone in this journey. So within myself, the movements that I am experiencing, the emotional struggle that I have been going through, not everything can be disclosed to everyone. And that, as you said, it gives us strength. It tells us that if you can take all that pain and still stand up, still. So all, and these, and in the beginning I said, we all are warriors, because we all go through some kind of a pain or suffering. It may be emotional pain, it may be losing a loved one, and that only gives us more strength within our being, that yes, even that loss I can go through, and I can, walk on ahead in my life. So along with the support of family, I also saw myself being alone, standing alone with my own inner movements.
Amazing. Amazing the way you're putting it. Really, I must say this. Also, coming to how you examined your body, self-examination, that led to this early detection,
Yeah,
right? How
yeah.
important is self-examination? Do let our viewers know.
So I would not say that I was a person who was very, effective in this aspect, because
Okay.
I ignored my symptoms for a long time.
Yes.
I ignored them for maybe for 1 year. I ignored them,
Mm.
And so I did not just go to the doctor after the first or second bleeding happened. I ignored them for 1 full year.
Okay.
And even then, I am alive sitting here today talking to you. So, and after that, I would say 2000, maybe you can cut this off from your recording. I don't know. After 2016, I had never went for a scan. I have not been, and it is just grace that is powering my life. And I would say that I don't want to put myself in fear of getting cancer again. And people ask me many a times that whether, how do you know whether you are in remission or whether you have cleared the disease? How do I know? And I would say, I don't want to know. No, I don't want to know, because right now, the life I am living, it is a full life in itself. I know that I am in charge of my thoughts, my emotions, and to much extent, I would say, not the complete extent, because it's an ongoing process, and also my body to a certain extent. And immediately, if I feel a disturbance, because I am tuned in now more to my emotions and body and thoughts, I would know that there is a disturbance. So, having intuitive faith in myself that if I am making this body and mind and emotions a temple, if I am keeping it clear, then I have to be in this solid faith that nothing weird would happen to me. Just because usually we are not able to be in charge of the thoughts, the emotions, and they play havoc on us, we think कि एकदम से disease कहाँ से आ गया, where does this just out of the blue disease appeared from? It's not out of the blue. The signals were there. I was not present in order to be, aware to the signals. Now, when I am home in this temple, when I am home, when I am aware what is going on in the head, when I am aware what is going on in the emotions in the body, then what is the fear that the disease will come again? And also, because I live in, so my task is to ignite this light in more and more human beings. So there is a little organization that I have formed, livinglight.in. So I'm realizing that if one day I can offer myself in service of God, of humanity, I think I don't have to fear at all, because now, being a servant of the God takes cares of us. If he wants me to be in the hospital, I will go through again. So I am not in fear of cancer, that I know that it can very well come again. Cancer is something, it can come again. But I also know that if I have to go through a certain life experience, I'm ready for that. So that strength, that inner strength that you were talking of, I can see that growing further, and fear taking a back seat, if I can say. Yeah.
We are taking a back seat. Yes. That is what all of us, when we live life towards the end, we've seen, okay, now I can bring it on. I'm
Yeah.
ready to face
Bring it
everything.
on. Yeah, exactly.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
That is the word. Like,
Yeah.
that's the catchphrase.
Because every darkness, every challenge, in my life, my experience, I'm sure with many other people also, it has opened up a newer phase in my life. So now, why will I fear a challenge or a difficulty when I know that at the root of it, there is something good lying there for me also? So then there is no matter that I need to be afraid of a challenge or of a difficult situation, or even cancer once again.
there is so much of there's so much of gratitude. At the same time, there's so much of power in your words. That is what is so, like, it's refreshing to see, you know
Glad to hear that.
yeah, it's very refreshing to see the way you're talking. You're humbled, at the same time you're saying, no, this is it. This is how I am chosen to lead my life.
Yeah.
I'm just put with so much, filled with so much joy talking to you right now,
I'm
I
so
must
happy
say.
to hear that.
It is the way we should all be looking forward towards living our life. We let a lot of people take control of it. A
Yeah.
lot of situations take control of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kudos to you. Really. I have to applaud you for this. Kudos to you. Really. Also, coming to the fact where you finally, after the treatment, you realized, okay, now I'm cancer free.
Yeah.
What was your reaction?
I think a gratitude, also a sense of relief, I would say, and as if I've been given a second chance, that, here you are with a fresh plate, with a clean plate. Would you like to start again? And I would say that because of this getting in touch with a deeper being in myself, I had a vision forward in life, in the sense, not an exact vision, but I knew that this inner truth, this inner peace is what I need to preserve in life more than anything else, in my life. And that gradually led to the events in my life which kind of connected me to more people, who are going through challenges in life. And now we are connected with many many seekers over kind of globe, if I can say, from US, from Canada, from all the places in India, where people are now using the darkness in life, the challenges in life, facing it up front and seeing that it also hides light. It is nothing to be afraid of. Even my darkest, most challenge hides only light, and even a brilliant kind of light, because it reveals much deeper truths of my own being to myself. Yeah. So it's a continuous journey of adventure, if I can say, that has begun after cancer. It was not much more before cancer, because after cancer you also realize the importance of human life, which we take for granted initially. We think that, okay, doing that, you feel you are alive, everyone else is alive. But after cancer, being alive also, you feel grateful for each day you are getting up. There is no fear, there is no anxiety, because I have seen days of fear and anxiety too. So really grateful for each day that I live. And the moment any kind of a confusion or overwhelming situation kind of enters my being, I immediately use cancer as a reminder. Because, do I want to be in my inner peace right now? Or do I want to let the fear and anxiety take hold over me? What do I want? So this concept of free will, choosing where I want to be in this moment, because I can choose, we all can choose, that has come more strongly after cancer only, which I was not aware of before cancer, that I can choose where I want to be each moment, no matter what the external situation is. Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed listening at all of this. Really, you have so much control over the whole situation.
No, and not at all, don't think it like that, because I'm also aware that the flow of universe is like flow of Ganges. We are
Yeah.
not in control. So I'm at the same time deeply grounded, in the sense that I don't have any control. The only person I have control over is my own thoughts, my own inner space, my own movements. Rest all will come and go, and I have no control whatsoever. I'm aware of that also. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That is why I initially said you're very humble. At the same time, you've taken control. So it's like you've reached that level of balance.
Yeah. More and more. Yeah. Gradually.
We're all working towards that
Working
balance.
towards it. Yeah. Yeah.
Or everybody on their own journey are working towards
Totally.
that balance.
Totally.
Some people are very far behind, some people are reaching there, some people have not discovered it yet. But yeah,
Yeah.
everybody's towards that journey.
Yes. 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 Yeah.
And coming to what you would like to share with all the viewers out there, caregivers, survivors, patients going through what something, everybody's on their own
Yeah.
journey, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What would you like to say to them? What would you like to say to everybody? Words of wisdom,
Yes.
lessons learned.
Yeah.
What would you like to say?
So one thing which comes to me right now is taking life as a continuing experiment, like a scientist. Even taking fear, anxiety, which are so ugly in appearance, as something to be discovered, not using the old images or old definitions, that yes, I know what fear is and I can just now be afraid and nothing else. So giving ourselves a new chance to explore these so-called uglinesses of life. And when we begin to explore the ugliness in life, the darkness in life, the challenges in life, because these are the things which bother us the most. Positivity doesn't bother, it does not need to be talked about. What needs to be talked about is negativity. What needs to be discussed is, how to go through a challenge, how to go through a difficult period, how to go through cancer. This needs to be talked about. So what I have discovered for myself, which I'm sure is the case with human being in general, because I'm also a human being, we have this thing in common, that all the things in the universe are for us. The universe is for us. We are the child of the universe. It is not against us. So whenever a darkness is thrown at me, a difficulty is thrown at me, I just have to take it as an experiment in order to unravel what is it trying to tell me. Where is the light hiding? What is the deeper truth it is trying to reveal to me? I think even as a caregiver or as a patient or other people going through challenges, if I take that approach, being an explorer in life, I think nothing can stop us. And we are not here to be stopped. No, we are divine children. We are not here to be stopped. We are immortal beings. The moment I limit myself in a role, in a particular idea that this is what I am and I cannot be that much, there I limit myself. So we are limitless, and being an explorer gives me that space to continue this journey of exploring life and not take it only on face values, that if it's dark, then it's only need to be dark and it cannot be light. So darkness and light is one. They are not separate from each other. This is the message, yeah. I think. Same. Yeah.
I'm just very overwhelmed because you I can see you're not just saying these words. You have gone through it.
Yeah.
You have experienced it firsthand, and you are speaking from your experience, your truth. You are speaking,
Yes. Yes.
and trust me, everyone is listening to you. Everyone, the world out there is listening to you. You've inspired me so much with just a conversation. I can only imagine how many people who are going to be inspired by watching this video. Thank you so much,
Thank
Monica.
you so much,
Thank you so
Nadia.
much. I'm
Thank
so humbled and so honored to be
Thank you.
talking to
Same
you.
here. Same here. It was a pleasure talking to you.
It was an absolute pleasure getting to know your story. You keep saying it's a small story, but it isn't.
Yeah, I think we all are little drops, but every story in big is big in itself. We all have overcome so many things in our life. So yes, small yet big, each of us. Yeah,
Small yet beautiful.
beautiful.
Small yet very beautifully handled, very beautifully. You've touched on how you've gone through the negative and the positive and come out of it so beautifully. Thank you so much, Monica.
Thank you, Nadia. Thank you.
Love Heals Cancer and zenonco.io. I want to thank you for taking the time out from your busy schedule, for being with us, for talking to us. A lot of patients, a lot of people out there are going to definitely be, I know, inspired and pushed towards, no, we can do this together. And you are not alone.
Yeah.
There are so many people out there. Cancer is curable. That is the message.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
You too.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.